Next, we move on to specification number 7, which asks us to identify the positions of tissues in transverse sections of non-woody dicot roots and stems, specifically the xylem, phloem, and cortex. So, in this section, we will focus on how to recognize and locate these tissues in the cross-section. Let's start by looking at the cross-section of a root and identifying its structures. Here, we can see the internal structure of a plant root, focusing on the xylem, phloem, and cortex, along with some other important components. First, we have the epidermis, which is the outermost layer of cells. It provides protection and also helps in absorption. Often, you'll notice root hairs extending from the epidermis. These increase the surface area, making water and mineral uptake much more efficient. Beneath the epidermis lies the cortex, a large region mainly involved in storing food and water. Surrounding the vascular tissues is the endodermis, which forms the inner boundary of the cortex. This layer contains the Casparian strip, which carefully regulates the movement of water and nutrients into the vascular cylinder. Just inside the endodermis is the pericycle, a layer of cells capable of producing lateral roots. Then we have the phloem, the vascular tissue that transports sugars, the food produced during photosynthesis, from the leaves to other parts of the plant, including the roots. Finally, the xylem is the vascular tissue responsible for carrying water and dissolved minerals from the roots upward to the rest of the plant. Together, these tissues make the root highly efficient at both transport and storage, supporting the plant's overall growth and survival. From this diagram, we can clearly identify and understand the positions of the xylem, phloem, and cortex. These vascular tissues are arranged in groups called vascular bundles, which are distributed throughout the roots, stems, and leaves of the plant. Plants rely on this vascular system to transport essential substances, such as water, nutrients, and sugars, to different parts of the plant. Specifically, the phloem is responsible for moving sucrose and amino acids from the sources, where they are produced, to the sinks, where they are either used or stored for later. This system ensures that every part of the plant gets the nutrients it needs to grow and function properly. Even though vascular bundles are found throughout the plant, their structure varies in the roots, stems, and leaves. Here, we'll focus only on the structure of vascular bundles in the roots and stems. These bundles also appear in the leaves, but we won't cover that here since we already discussed it in Chapter 6 on plant nutrition. In the stem, vascular bundles are usually arranged around the outer edge. Within each bundle, the phloem is on the outside, while the xylem is on the inside. In contrast, the root typically has a single vascular bundle at the center. Here, the xylem forms an X shape, with the phloem surrounding the outer edges of the xylem. Both stems and roots also have a region called the cortex, which lies between the vascular tissue and the outer surface of the plant. The cortex helps store food and water and supports the plant's overall growth and functioning. The cortex serves several important functions, including helping transport water toward the vascular tissue and storing substances like starch. In stems, the cortex is relatively narrow because the vascular tissue lies close to the surface. In roots, however, the cortex is much wider, occupying most of the root structure. As mentioned earlier, in the stem, vascular bundles are arranged around the outer edge, with the phloem on the outside and the xylem on the inside. In both stems and roots, the xylem is always positioned toward the interior of the vascular bundle, while the phloem remains on the outside. This variation in the arrangement of vascular tissue across different parts of the plant ensures that each region meets its specific functional needs, allowing efficient transport of water, nutrients, and food, as well as proper storage throughout the plant.